What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only, Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Said It Show. Over 2,100 episodes since 2014, 500,000 streams around the world. None of this is possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much for all the love, all the support. Today is a very special episode. I've got one of my favorite people coming through today, and she's brought somebody else special with her from, of course, the Party Room Squad family. All right, so we got 2 section leaders today. All right, there's many section leaders, as we know, in the Party Room Squad fam, but we got 2 today. We got Lo representing Cyrus, and we got Lady Vic. You know, she holding down Maya. Hey, ladies.
Hey, everybody. Hi.
Good. Glad that you guys could join us today. And I mean, we had to jump on this very special episode. I feel like we back in the 80s, Lo. Like, we had to put a very special episode out because there's big announcements and things going on with Party Room Squad. As you guys saw on social media last week, we posted the sections them closed. Everything closed off. Everything done. But we may have a little bit of wiggle room going on. So, Lo, let the people them know, what's going on with these spots and these reservations.
Yes, so we are here to let it be known. There were some resales with some individuals. They're not able to make it. They weren't able to make some of their payments. And then there are some individuals that are trying to sell their costumes that they reached out to some of the section leaders. So for those of us that do have those availabilities, depending on your sizes, definitely they can contact us, can contact myself at Dropping Gems on Instagram, as well as contact Maya. The section leader is Lady Vic. She'll go ahead and elaborate more and talk about it more with you all. And of course, definitely reach out to our band leader, Carl Montez, directly. His number is 305-301-8538. Again, for me, my section is Cyrus. I do have just a snippet, depending on the sizes, because they're reselling them. But definitely reach out. I'm at Dropping Gems on Instagram. Send me a DM, and definitely can correspond with everyone.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And so, Lady Vic, tell us all about Maya.
Okay, hi everybody. So this is Vicky from Lady Vic Creations, and you can definitely reach me on Instagram by sending DMs at lady_Vic_creations, and you can see information about the Maya section on there. And so definitely the theme this year for Party Room Squad was definitely Empires. Mm-hmm. And I was given the task of showing the Mayan Empire in a costume format. Mm-hmm. So that's just a little bit about the costume. And definitely there are spaces available. All of the costumes were designed by myself, Lady Vic Creations, as well as my feather work. And I have to give a big shout out to Antiguan designer who designed my mail. Yeah. And this is his 25th anniversary of doing costumes in Antigua and environs. So big shout out to him. And so definitely if you're looking for a costume for Miami, I would love it if you would choose me. Yay, me. And we have lots of spots, lots of availability. But of course, those spots are going to be moving pretty quickly now that major carnivals are coming to an end, and then everyone starts to get the Miami fever, right? Mm-hmm. Because Barbados is over, Antigua is over, Caribbean is over, which I'm just coming back from because I did something there with Sunline Mass. So I'm pretty busy when it comes to the carnival circuit. Yes. And so we had a great time there on the road in Canada. Shout out to my Canadian cousins. And so we had a great time there. And I'm looking forward to this Miami. Yeah. This will be my 2nd or 3rd year with Party Room Squad. And I'm really looking forward to it. And, just being on the road and being able to express our culture and just have a good time with it,
Yes. And Lady Vic, a little birdie told me that you are from New York. You're a fellow New
Yes.
Yorker, much like myself. So I want to talk a little bit about the evolution that you've seen as far as Carnival goes as a whole, like seeing the movement from, maybe 10, 20 years ago till now. How do you feel about how things have evolved for Carnival?
Well, I would just say things have evolved. The biggest one is definitely monetarily.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the price of materials and things like that have almost tripled in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the factors that are affecting Carnival. Imports and exports. Definitely the hot button topic of tariffs now. So all of those things are definitely affecting Carnival. I think what's also affecting Carnival is definitely social media. I think that you have a lot of these social media influencers and things of that nature. And so everyone wants to be where the influencer is or the hot guy or the hot girl is, irrespective of the costume and the culture and things of that nature. Whereas a couple of years ago, if you liked the costume, you were with the band or what have you. Right. It wasn't about, influencers and stuff being in a particular band, and that's where you wanted to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's one of the major differences that you're seeing today. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing because the culture is getting more exposure, but again, at what price?
Yeah, I could definitely see that because it's been, like you said, it's kind of good and bad because you see like some of the good stuff because yes, it's giving more exposure. Yes, it's opening up people to different things, but at the same token, culture vultures. There's people that steal from the culture and they monetize it for themselves and they're not really honoring the tradition of which Carnival is. It's fun, yes, but it's also tradition for Caribbean people. So,
right. And the history of Carnival and certain Carnival characters and things of that nature that I don't think a lot of people know about. Yeah. I can only speak mainly about culture or the cultural norms in Trinidad, where you have the Midnight Robber and the baby doll characters and Blue Devil and things of that nature. So those are some of the more traditional aspects of Carnival. The Camberley, the reenactments, rather, the Camberley riots and stuff like that. The reason why we have Old Mass in the beginning anyway, which was because in the beginning of Carnival, we weren't necessarily allowed to participate in the masquerades that the French colonizers did. So we created our own carnival, mocking them, as it were, and that's how you got some of the Old Mass genres and characters, right?
Yeah. What do you feel like would help to enrich the Carnival experience for the next generation? What do you think that we need to do as far as like trying to really cultivate and secure the Carnival experience?
I think that along with having fun, I think that some kind of education needs to go into what Carnival is and isn't, right? And, each island has their own reasons for doing things. For example, crop over, which I learned recently in Barbados, is celebrated at that time because that's when the crops would be finished and it would be harvest time. So that's why it's called crop over, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Good.
Right?
Yeah.
Carnival in Trinidad and a few other Caribbean islands are held the Monday and Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, and that's more so because of the Christian background and things of that nature, right? So each country, each island has its own traditions of why it does certain things,
right?
And I think a little bit of knowledge into those things would be very helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree on that.
Lo, I agree.
I know you've been a little quiet there. We've been talking. We've been getting to the nitty gritty of it. But I want to get your perspective. You being native Miami person and kind of watching Carnival evolve. What differences have you seen in the Carnival experience there?
It's been a big transition because for me, yes, born and raised in Miami, but my parents are West Indian. My father's Jamaican, my mom's Trinidadian. And even at times, when I wanted to branch out on my own, it's the difference of I don't have that Caribbean accent. So sometimes I have to get my mom involved and have her talk for me and realize, we are descendants of our parents, and we know the history because our parents made sure we knew where we came from, what we stood for, the revolt and the pride and the essence of being being West Indian. So the transition of seeing the elders, how hard they used to work, and they actually bend wire. They showed you how to bend wire. They showed you the structure of how to make a really good costume that could sustain winds and things like that. And watching, even when my mom was in New York and watching her friends with the different bands, how they prepare for the Kiddies Carnival. Everyone thinks it's mainly adults, but kids are involved as well. There's a parade just for the children to enrich the knowledge for them. And now, it's evolved to where there's something missing. The pride is missing. The essence and the love is missing. The knowledge is missing. And that's one of the number one reasons why, for me and my brand is dropping gems. We have to remember where we came from. And even from the years prior when I've been with Party Room Squad, since 2016, 2017, it was always anytime when the masqueraders came in and they couldn't pick up their costumes, we engage with them and we communicate with them, hey, do you know what Carnival is about? And just you do those little snippets, and sometimes it got to the point where they ask themselves, and they're like, hey, we're doing this is our first time, and, what does it all entail? What is it all about? Because a lot of people look at it like what Lady Vic says, from social media and from influencers, it's something fun. It's something sexy. Right. Oh, their skin. It's unfortunate that it's kind of like sexualized, but that's not it. No. We are proud of our skin. We are proud of our bodies. At times, of course, we all have our moments where we wish we was a little this, that, and the third. But it just shows you that essence and the pride, what it comes from, our heritage, our ancestors. There's the jokes on social media that Caribbean people don't go to the gym for health. We go to the gym to look good in a costume. It's one of those. It unfortunately has evolved until some moments where we forget the culture, and I believe one of the ways to bring it back, we have to start off small, letting the people know what it's about. Hey, do you know the history? Have them while they're sitting down, waiting for the costume, and we getting things sorted out. They go ahead and go on and scan a QR code. One of the band members had this idea. We're like, you know what? Spoke with the band leader, and he's like, this is great. This is what we're gonna do. While they're sitting and while they're waiting, they're scanning a QR code, and they're getting to hear the podcast. They're getting to hear our views and our conversations and learning about the history and the culture, and giving them a brief synopsis of what Caribbean Carnival really is and what it's really about. And it's not, not only having a good time, not only drinking and whining and having fun, but also displaying the artistry, the costume making, like the people who put in that love, that sweat, and that pride into making your costume. It's not just a fashion show. It's literally like a revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree on that. Amazing, ladies. Okay, so Lady Vic, let everyone know again the best way that they can reach you. They want to go ahead and secure some costumes from you. Where do they need to go?
Okay, so what they can do is they can either go to my Instagram page and my bio, and in my bio you will find my registration link, or you can contact me directly at 347-698-2251. And again, that's 347-698-2251. You can call me directly, or you can use the WhatsApp application to call me, and that'll definitely be fine. And just to piggyback on what my fellow section leader, Dropping Gems, was saying, I also think that if we invested in a carnival museum where people can see how things started to where they are now, right?
Yes.
And as you mentioned about continuity and things of that nature, like my uncle, who is now with the ancestors, used to make Kitty's carnival costumes in Trinidad with the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Department, right? And so I remember when I was younger, seeing him literally make costumes out of foam and different articles, right? It wasn't about feathers and stuff like that. There's one costume I remember that he made. It was like a whale head or something like that, and he made it completely out of foam and painting the foam for it to look like a whale's head. And I do think that Kitty's Carnival really holds on to some of the more traditional elements of carnival still, depending on where you are. But definitely, I remember that. I remember him, that was such a long time ago. I was very, very young, obviously, at the time when he was making these things. And, of course, we moved from that because we have different materials and advanced techniques and things of that nature. But I think seeing some of those things and the evolution of carnival from then to now, I think would also be helpful. And, a learning, even if it's a learning kind of immersion product, I think that would be something great for us to see and be a part of.
I agree with you. I think a museum is definitely needed. That's a phenomenal idea. I absolutely agree with that.
Well, ladies, I know New York might not, but Miami actually has something like that. It's in our Miramar, Hollywood area.
Really?
It's connected with the mall. And they display Caribbean costumes. So yes, we actually have something like that in Miami.
Oh, wow.
One of our band leaders actually got one of the costumes to put in the museum. So it's not large, but we do have one on a small spectrum. It's small, but it definitely have one. So yes, maybe next call we can link up with them. We will reach out and see. But we definitely do have one in Miami.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither.
And I think that with that museum, it would be great for them to reenact some of the elements of carnival, like the Camberley stick fighting, like some of the other elements like jab and grenada. Some of those things. I think that would be,
we could definitely reach out to them and find out if they already produce those things or what they do offer, what they don't offer. So we could definitely engage with them and reach out to them and find out those details.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it would be amazing.
Yes.
And how even like steel pan, how it changed the game. The only instrument created in this time in the 20th century, of course from Trinidad and Tobago, and how that also played a part in some of the early things of carnival and how it came about because of it was something created out of nothing, right? Because they had all these old oil drums in Trinidad, and they took that and they made an instrument out of it. Right? So that's a very good example of taking lemons and making lemonade.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that one. And ladies, unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to have a stopping point here. I see Mr. Carl is texting me. He said you two are required at mass camp. I don't know if it's some feathers need to be put in place and gemstones or what, but you two are being called to the carpet. So,
okay.
I appreciate you both for coming through today. Let everyone
tell the captain we're on our way. Okay, we're ready to perform.
All right, I'm just saying. I'm just the messenger. But I appreciate you guys for coming through. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, you guys can check out this episode. We got all the information in the description. Keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.
Okay.